When AOC happily psychoanalyzes groups of people, then it's an invitation to return the favor. This is why she is so pro-illegal immigration. She's projecting her secret desires for young, virile men.
What is it about conservative men like Greg Gutfeld specifically stooping that low and attacking someone he disagrees with politically in like the most disgusting, like demeaning way imaginable, right? Like it immediately goes to something grossly sexual. It's just, you disagree with her on a political issue, that's fine. Then argue and debate the merit of her argument. But he can't do that, can he?
Yeah, look, whenever it comes to AOC, they always make it sexual.
It's so gross.
And they've got it out for her boyfriend. They're constantly mentioning her boyfriend, fiance, etc. Guys, you're so obvious. Like, we get it. You're into her and like she's top of mind for you and you're super jealous of her fiance. It's a little embarrassing, let alone unprofessional and weird.
So that was pretty bad, but it's about to get worse.
When AOC happily psychoanalyzes groups of people, then it's an invitation to return the favor, right? If she can do it, she's saying that people who support Trump are projecting their masculine insecurity. But isn't she saying that because of her own insecurities about her boyfriend's masculinity, right? She must realize how soft and buttery and feminine progressive males are. And it's hard to get horny with a snowflake. So it's why, and I think this is why she is so pro-illegal immigration. She's projecting her secret desires for young, virile men who are coming here in droves, and she's stuck with Pajama Boy, and it's driving her crazy. All these Trump supporters, men, MMA fighters, drives her nuts.
I'm sure that's what it is. I'm sure that she has the views that she has because she wait, is he arguing that the men coming in to the country are conservative men? Because they can't be progressive men, right? They can't be, and then the Democratic Party is gonna use these right-wing immigrants coming into the country to win elections, right? That's the other argument they make.
Yeah,
what?
He's not even trying to make sense. He went from like, oh, she wants the guys crossing the border to she wants Republican guys. Because he's not trying to make a real point. He's just trying to say, hey, she's hot. We all are sexually interested in her. And so let's try to say that she only cares about sex because we're doing projection.
Yeah, it is projection. That's the underlying, motivating factor in his commentary here and his statements here.
Like the idea that AOC's considering policy because of which virile men she wants.
God.
That's so absurd. And who looks at undocumented immigrants that are like desperate coming over to, protect their family, et cetera, and thinks, oh, good, sex is coming. Like, what a weirdo thing. Like, I never associated two things together in my life until this moment. And then I am amused by Greg Gutfeld's description. The right wing always does this. They're like, oh, the people, guys on the left are, he said, soft, buttery, and feminine.
Buttery, huh?
Yeah, do I look buttery? Well, in a sense.
Buttery sounds pretty delicious to me, anyway.
So I've gotten a lot of criticism from the right wing. Soft hasn't been one of them.
Yeah, that is a good point. If anything, you get the opposite criticism, right?
That I'm a savage who came to deal with them appropriately, and some of them I think secretly like it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, now look, we don't know for sure what comments they were specifically talking about. But we're gonna make an assumption here because recently AOC was on a podcast, the I've Had It podcast, and they discussed immigration. So let's take a look at what she had to say and discuss whether or not that's the motivating factor behind Greg Gutfeld's disgusting commentary.
And like Donald Trump is what you actually get. Donald Trump is what you actually get when you want a politician to embody all of like your hopes and dreams and like caricatures of yourself.
Yes.
And Donald Trump affirms insecure men's idea of masculinity.
Yes.
They affirm insecure people's idea of wealth.
Internalized misogyny.
Yeah, insecure white folks' idea of race.
Look, I don't know. What do you think about her comments there? I'm curious.
So the thing is, look, I get it. People can say that's out of bounds, but on the other, and it's
also I think that it misses why Trump is actually popular among Republican voters.
So that's what I was going to get to.
Yeah.
Because there is no one Republican voter, right?
Exactly.
There's a range, and so do some of them love that he flaunts the fact that he sexually assaults women? Yeah, they do. I mean, he got an ovation in the CNN town hall when he was talking about the woman that he had sexually abused, E. Jean Carroll. So is there a part of right-wing men who hear him call Puerto Ricans lazy after the hurricane, who hear him say, well, the black people are guilty no matter what in the case of the Central Park Five, et cetera, and refer to S-hole countries, et cetera, and love it? Of course there are. If you say there aren't, you're just denying reality, right? So now, but a lot of the left and mainstream media assumes that's 100% of Republican voters, right? And then Joe Biden assumes 100 Republican voters are just moderates waiting to take their MAGA mask off and then go back to being kind moderates. That's also not true, right? So the reality is, I've always said that the most correct thing Hillary Clinton has ever said was a deplorable comment, where half of them are deplorable and maybe it's a different percentage, and the other half just hate the establishment. And Trump is the first one to give the establishment a middle finger and still be allowed on TV. And so that's why he's enormously popular. But no one in the establishment, politicians or the media, is ever going to admit that. We're the only ones on the left who ever say that portion of the Republican electorate, we understand. They're wrong, they're misguided, they picked the wrong guy, but I understand why they did it, and they're the ones that get ignored in every political analysis.
Didn't Biden, in one speech, refer to Trump supporters as like domestic terrorists?
I think recently he did, but you know why? Because Biden does not like to criticize Republicans, right?
I mean, that's a big criticism.
No, it is. So what happens is his speechwriters write this speech for him, and like normally he's like, no way. But now he's been getting a lot of pressure from the Obama camp, for God's sake, and even from Joe Scarborough, for God's sake, will you go out there and campaign? So they write this awkward speech for him. And he goes, okay, I guess if everybody's putting pressure on me, I guess this is what I have to do. And he reads it, right? He doesn't mean a word of that. If you asked him when he's off prompter, if a reporter asks him while he's going to a helicopter or whatever, hey, do you really think the Republicans are extremists or terrorists or domestic terrorists or whatever? You'd be like, no, they're my friends. Oh no, I said it again, God. You know?
Maybe, yeah. Look, I don't know what's in his mind. And to be honest with you, it's hard to decipher because he's never really around and doesn't do public appearances that often. But that's beside the point. The other thing I want to just quickly note is I don't think Democrats and liberals in general understand just how much pleasure Trump supporters get merely by Trump triggering them. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, I wish I had the poll in front of me, but there was a poll recently that asked Trump supporters, like, what is the top reason why you support Trump? Like, what do you like the most about him? And there was a huge portion of those poll respondents who said they love the fact that he triggers the left.
Yeah, of course. See, that's the thing that folks don't understand. Some of that is because, the black people, brown people, women are on the left, right? But a big portion of that is they feel like those are the guys who are control the government. Government sucks, corruption sucks. Corruption is totally taking control of the government. That instinct is correct. It's totally misdirected though. They took it to a con man named Donald Trump, and they think the problem is big government when the reality is the problem isn't quote unquote big government, that is Social Security, Medicare, cops, military, schools, roads, bridges, et cetera. The real problem is the system of corruption that's in place now.
Yes.
But the Democrats and the media never talk about it. So that half of the right wing gets so frustrated and they're like, stop lying to us. So when Trump triggers those guys, they love it. And he's not wrong on the politics of it, but I trigger the right wing all the time. And I love it and I don't care. And that's and folks like that because I'm a rare fighter against the right wing. Most of them are, on the left are just super soft. Anyways, back to Gutfeld.
Buttery? Would you say they're buttery?
I would say they're a little buttery.
Buttery is not the right word. Buttery sounds delicious and lovely. Like, we can't use buttery as a negative.
Yeah, guys, and then they'll say Antifa's the terrorists, the commies are gonna take over the country, et cetera. So the reality is the left and the right aren't soft and buttery. The establishment is soft and buttery. And so it's the Mitch McConnells and Joe Bidens of the world who've been making dirty deals against the American voters and in favor of their donors for the last 40, 50 years. That's the reality. So all this sexual talk, et cetera, is a giant waste of time. And this personal attacks and the social issues and the culture wars are a waste of time. It's meant to distract us from the robbery that's going on, carried out by corporate Republicans and Democrats.
If you enjoyed this video, that's because of our members. They make us independent, they make us strong, and they make us honest. Become a member today by hitting the join button below.